Chapter 3. The identity creates the outcome. Your life rises or falls to the level of the identity you accept as true, not the identity you wish you had, not the identity you occasionally imagine, not the identity you display for other people. The identity you genuinely believe is true about yourself. Because whether you realize it or not, every day you are acting out a story about who you are, a story about what is possible for you, a story about what you deserve, a story about what you are capable of creating. And that story is influencing your life far more than most people realize. Many people spend years trying to change their results without ever examining the identity producing those results. They try to improve their circumstances. They try to improve their habits. They try to improve their finances. They try to improve their relationships. Yet they never stop to ask a simple question. Who is the person creating these outcomes? Because life is not merely responding to your actions. Life is often responding to the identity behind those actions. And until identity changes, lasting transformation remains difficult. Think about it this way. Imagine a thermostat in a room. The thermostat controls the temperature. You can temporarily warm the room with a portable heater. You can temporarily cool the room with a fan. But eventually the room returns to the setting programmed into the thermostat. Identity works much the same way. Your identity is the internal setting that continually pulls your behavior toward what you believe is normal. You may achieve temporary results through motivation, but lasting results usually require identity transformation, because people act consistently with who they believe they are. That may be one of the most important truths in this entire audiobook. People act consistently with who they believe they are. Someone who believes they are disciplined naturally makes different decisions than someone who believes they are inconsistent. Someone who believes they are healthy naturally makes different choices than someone who identifies as unhealthy. Someone who believes they are confident behaves differently than someone who identifies as insecure. The behavior is often a reflection of the identity. The action follows the belief. The outcome follows the action. And eventually the identity gets reinforced. This is why change can feel difficult. Many people attempt to change behavior while leaving identity untouched. They focus on what they are doing without changing who they believe they are. As a result, the old identity eventually pulls them back. Not because they lack potential, not because they lack intelligence, but because the subconscious mind seeks consistency. It wants your actions and identity to match. And when they don't match, tension is created. The mind naturally attempts to resolve that tension, usually by returning to familiar behavior. This is why someone can achieve success and still feel like an imposter. Their external reality changed, but their identity remained the same. And because identity remained unchanged, they struggle to sustain the result. The inner world must eventually align with the outer world. Otherwise, conflict emerges. Now think about the difference between a wealth builder and a wealth seeker. At first glance, they may appear similar. Both want financial freedom. Both want abundance. Both want success. But their identities are often completely different. The wealth seeker focuses primarily on obtaining money. The wealth builder focuses on becoming the type of person capable of creating value consistently. The wealth seeker asks, "How can I get more?" The wealth builder asks, "How can I become more valuable?" The wealth seeker searches for shortcuts. The wealth builder develops skills. The wealth seeker hopes circumstances improve. The wealth builder improves themselves regardless of circumstances. One focuses on acquiring. The other focuses on becoming. And over time, that difference produces dramatically different outcomes. Because identity drives behavior. Behavior drives results. Results reinforce identity. The cycle continues. The same principle applies to confidence. Many people believe confidence comes after certainty. But truly confident people often act before certainty appears. They do not wait until all doubt disappears. They do not wait until every question has been answered. They do not wait until they feel completely ready. Instead, they trust themselves enough to move forward despite uncertainty. That is because confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is trust in your ability to handle what comes next. Think about every major growth experience in your life. There was uncertainty. There were unanswered questions. There were risks. Yet somehow you navigated them. You adapted. You learned. You grew. The confident person understands this. They know they do not need all the answers before taking action. They trust their ability to figure things out along the way. And that trust creates momentum. Momentum creates experience. Experience creates evidence. Evidence strengthens identity. The cycle begins working in their favor. Now let's talk about goals. Most personal development advice focuses heavily on goals. And goals are valuable. Goals create direction. Goals create focus. Goals help you determine where you want to go. But goals alone do not create lasting transformation. Identity creates results. Read that again. Goals create direction. Identity creates results. A goal tells you what you want. Identity determines what you repeatedly do. A goal can inspire you. Identity sustains you. A goal can create excitement. Identity creates consistency. A goal can point toward a destination. Identity determines whether you arrive. This is why two people can set identical goals and produce completely different outcomes. The difference is not always knowledge. The difference is not always opportunity. The difference is often identity. One person sees themselves as someone who follows through. The other sees themselves as someone who quits. One person sees themselves as capable. The other sees themselves as limited. One person identifies with growth. The other identifies with fear. And over time, those identities quietly shape every decision. Most people underestimate how often they speak to themselves. The conversation never stops. All day long the mind is generating stories. Stories about success. Stories about failure. Stories about possibility. Stories about limitation. The question is not whether you have an internal narrative. The question is whether that narrative is helping you or hurting you. Because the words you repeatedly tell yourself eventually become beliefs. Beliefs become identity. Identity becomes behavior. Behavior becomes reality. This is why awareness is so important. You cannot change what you do not recognize. You cannot transform an identity you have never questioned. And perhaps for the first time, you are beginning to realize just how much power identity holds. Pause for a moment. Who have you been telling yourself that you are? Not who you want other people to believe you are. Not who you hope to become someday. Who have you been telling yourself that you are? Have you been telling yourself that you are resilient or fragile, capable or limited, growing or stuck, abundant or lacking, confident or uncertain? Because every answer creates consequences. Every label influences behavior. Every belief shapes perception. And every perception contributes to the reflection life presents back to you. The good news is that identity is not fixed. Identity can evolve. Identity can expand. Identity can be rewritten. The person you were 5 years ago is not the person you are today. You have learned. You have adapted. You have grown. And the person you are becoming tomorrow does not need to be limited by the person you were yesterday. That realization is incredibly powerful. Because the moment you stop treating identity as permanent, transformation becomes possible. You begin realizing that success is not something you chase. It is something you grow into. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you practice. Abundance is not something you hope for. It is something you align with. Everything begins with becoming. The reflection follows the source. The outcome follows identity. And life continually responds to the person you believe yourself to be. which raises an important question. If identity shapes behavior, and behavior shapes results, then what determines the beliefs that identity is built upon in the first place? The answer lies in something extraordinarily powerful, something that silently influences every decision you make: your focus. You have discovered that goals may create direction, but identity creates results. You have seen how beliefs become behaviors, and behaviors become outcomes. But identity itself does not exist in isolation. It is constantly being strengthened by what you focus on, because whatever receives your attention begins receiving your energy, and whatever receives your energy begins shaping your reality. Let's explore one of the most powerful forces in human transformation: